What's up guys, it's Nick from The Work Method, and today I'm bringing you a first look / review of our REP Pegasus Lat attachment. I've been looking forward to this for months now. I just got it a couple days ago. I just built it. It took me about 5 minutes to put together. Basically, you just slot the leg roller down in. This just pops out with a little pin in the back here, and then you basically just have to add the seat onto the post with about 4 bolts. Very simple to put together. And just on first impressions, guys, this thing is incredibly well built, feels solid. Everything about it feels premium qualities. This is probably, I have a lot of REP products here. This is probably one of the nicest looking REP products that I've seen them put out. It just looks, everything about it is very refined. It's got a really nice handle here, and I'll get up close and show you guys some of the intricacies of it, but it's got a really nice little handle here for grip. We got a knurled, this is a plastic handle. It's probably one of the few things that's actually plastic on it. Might be this little top attachment here. Almost everything else on the piece is metal. So really nicely built. On this side, you have a knurled pin here that helps tighten down. Essentially what this pin does is push against this rubber on the inside here and actually presses it tight to the rack. So the pin actually isn't touching the rack or marking up your rack. It's just pushing in this nice material here that helps tighten it up and hold it to the rack. And there's actually an additional mag pin that you can stick in the other side. In my preliminary uses, I don't really think you need the mag pin. It's just an extra step that I personally probably won't use very much, but for extra safety, you can always pop this in and it really secures it in place. But just based on that adjustment knob and gravity, the way it sits in the rack, if you're sitting on it, it's really hard for it to be able to pull. You'd have to pull out this way. Sitting down on it actually holds it into the rack a little bit more solidly. So this is an optional use for me, obviously. So to install on the rack, you grab it by this top handle here, and underneath the seat, there's actually a nice little round grip, and there's a single peg on the front of this. And basically, the lowest setting you can set it on is the one on a REP 5000 rack, and it just slides in and sets down. This is actually really important to me because I do a lot of personal training in this gym as well, and I do not like the current setup for the REP Aries having 2 pulleys, and there was no real good system to leverage down my legs. I have a Titan kind of long leg roller that comes out to the middle, which REP also has for the REP 4000, and then I never liked REP's dual roller system. It's just not enough adjustment for me if I'm changing between clients. I don't have to adjust 2 things to kind of get the perfect height. And then there's not micro adjustments. So although I do enjoy the dual pulley up top, I wanted something on one pulley that I can do lat pull downs on, and then I would have the other side of the pulley freed up to do other options if I'm doing any type of circuit training. So this here was kind of the deal breaker for me in that I wanted to make sure that I had enough range of motion to do my lat pull down with a full stretch. So the lowest I can set it on, because of the Aries, they have this bottom bracket that comes up, is this one. It basically, it sits in on top of the number 1. And then you just tighten down the knob, and you can see, even without the pin in there, like this thing is not coming out of this rack. I'm pulling on it. I can pull it almost as hard as I can on this rack, and without even the mag pin in there, it doesn't come out. So very sturdy. Probably the mag pin is overkill to hold it in place. And now I'll just demo what a lat pull down looks like. Now keep in mind, I'm 5'8", so I don't need a lot of clearance. So if you guys are bigger, this may not be the option for you. And that's why the higher dual pulleys might be a better option if you're really tall, if you can find some other solution in the middle here. But I wanted a single stack. So for me, I can come down, I can make micro adjustments here to this. I can go all the way up here, which gives me plenty of leg clearance. And then I can just drop it down tight onto the knees. I actually have this at the lowest setting. So down here as well, there's 2 other pop pins that move really smoothly, and you can rotate this all the way up or all the way down. And then on top of that, underneath here, you can rotate the adjustment of this pad. So what I've done is dropped it down as low as I can get because I want the most range of motion I can get out of the pull down, and then I've just made the seat flat. And you can see, even side to side, this thing is really sturdy, well built. This is what a lat pull down looks like for me. I can get my feet nice and secure. I can get a big stretch at the top with probably about 3 to 4 inches of space still. Pull down to the chest. Like I said, if you are really tall and you have long arms, this option might not work very well for the lat pull down, but for me, and probably most of my clients, this is gonna work incredibly well. So overall, the first thoughts of the lat pull down, very impressed. It does exactly what I wanted to do, and it's very easy to kind of adjust. It's definitely not light by any means. I think it comes in around 60 pounds, but the way they've added all these different handles to kind of pick it up certainly helps. So I'm gonna adjust it up to probably the next function that most people got it for, which is using the seat as some type of seal row pad. So what I'm gonna do is just loosen up this knob here. I'm gonna come up, you can either grab here or here, and you can, I think up here is probably preferred. You can slide it straight out, come up to a height that you feel comfortable with, get it straight in, and just like that, tighten it down, and you are set up for your seal row once you make an adjustment to this part of the seat. So like I said, this doesn't really matter, the roller, you're now dealing with two different adjustments. You can adjust up like this, which you wouldn't really need to do for the seal row unless you wanted it up higher. This is like a micro adjustment actually, because instead of lifting it up, out, maybe you didn't put it the exact right number, you can adjust it up like this and then use your other pop pin to adjust this down. So this is a really great way to not have to pull this thing out and remember all your perfect settings on the rack for where you are. It's especially important for me training clients. Like I can't remember the dozens of clients and their different settings for heights and things. So as we're working through a program, you get it to around chest height, come in, and then you can just play around. This is a bit high for seal rows, but I was just showing you for an example. I could make it lower like this. Boom, that's actually perfect. So that's a great example of just a quick adjustment there to get that seal row perfect. Let me grab a couple dumbbells and I'll show you how sturdy it feels and what it looks like on there. I got a couple of 50s here. I'm gonna set up my chest on this. Very sturdy, like this thing feels like it's part of the rack. And then it feels incredible for seal rows. I do seal rows all the time on benches, and something about straddling the bench and getting the right height is a bit of a pain in the butt. With this, feels great. That extra 100 pounds I had on there, again, like this thing is not moved. The seat has a little play in it, but the actual attachment to the rack, it is solid as a rock. You can see that this does move a little bit. I will say that the vinyl here feels very similar, if not a little bit better than my REP 4200, I believe. I have to double check those numbers, but it is firm, but not too firm. Very grippy material. These rollers are like some of the best rollers I've ever seen. I'll show you, for example, this is the Titan kind of a long roller that I was using on the rack prior. When I would put this on, it would have a lot of flex. This pad isn't as nice, although it's not terrible, and the pad doesn't rotate very well. The thing I like about this, it has a little spinny action there, so you can easily adjust your knees in and out to find the right position, and it's not grabbing to you. Again, these are very cushy. These are like almost overbuilt. They're so big and soft. Not soft, but so big and cushy. Another concern of mine when getting it was storage. Now this thing is pretty easily storable. A couple of ways you can do it. You can either store it completely upright like this in a corner somewhere, or for me, I have a 16, I think this is a 32 on the inside. I can store it right on the inside of my rack here. So I can slide it in here. I don't do a lot of work inside of the rack, so this is actually perfect for me, and I keep my dip bars basically up at all times as well. You can store it like this, or you could store it vertically, which is kind of cool. So I could pop that over in the corner there, or right here, store it vertically. The leg rollers also come off, and you can use those separately as well. So you can take these leg rollers off and use them in the rack for Bulgarian split squats or to hold you down for Nordic hamstring curls. Again, that's something I might cover in a future video, but storage is a lot easier and better than I thought it was gonna be, because this is not exactly a tiny piece to store, and it's kind of a weird apparatus to hang up on the wall. So again, just to cover quickly the pros and the cons. The pros are it works exactly perfectly for what I wanted to do, which is lat pull downs on a single stack. It works really well for the seal rows. It's gonna have a lot of other uses as I begin to explore it. Some of the cons I would say would be that it's heavy. It is something you need to store and need a little bit of space to store for it. As far as the build quality, I wouldn't say there are any cons really. They've kind of figured out how to make the most out of this thing that you can. So much versatility, so many adjustments. It's pretty much perfect in that sense. I would say I have a 93-inch rack too. I didn't mention that before, but I would say a con would be if you are really tall and you want to use it for lat pull downs, you are probably going to top out at the top of the rack because you can't get it low enough because of this bracket here, and the cables don't go high enough on a 93-inch rack if you are very tall. So I will say that is a con. I'm not sure how they would have gotten around that besides having this drop even lower to the floor, which would then make it kind of awkward to have your knees in. I don't know if it's as much of a limitation of the Pegasus as it is a limitation of the Aries system, which is why the original one came out with the higher pulleys in the center. But I would say that is a con. Other than that, I don't think there are a lot of cons besides price maybe. It is not a cheap seat, but I think for the value that you get out of it, it is worth it. But again, I'm really impressed with this, and it's kind of exceeded my expectations. I think I ordered this back in April, and I've just been patiently waiting because no one else really had something that did all these different things like this REP model does. I did purchase this with my own money. REP did not send me this. I will leave a link in the description down below, and if you purchase through that link, I get a small kickback at no cost to you. It helps the channel out a lot. So if you are going to purchase it, please consider using that link. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, I would highly recommend. I don't think there's another one on the market at this price that gives you this much value and is this good of a build quality. If you guys enjoyed this video so far, make sure you like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing more home gym equipment reviews in the future. Check out my home gym dumbbell workouts. I have tons of them on the channel, full 6-week programs. And if you guys want to see some more use cases for this other than just lat pull downs and seal rows, leave a comment down below and I'll make a video about some unique exercises you can do with this outside of just lat pull downs and seal rows. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.